All right, welcome back. It's Breakfast Daily, and of course, the show is interactive, and we would like to hear from you throughout the show. So kindly use the hashtag Breakfast Daily if you happen to be watching us on any of our social media streams. Our WhatsApp line is 0204 447 033. Kindly stay in touch with us and let us know your thoughts on the various conversations that we'll be having throughout the show. Now we're going to go over to Kpegu Primary School, and they are appealing for school infrastructure. This report is brought to us by our Northern Regional Correspondent, Mohammed Aminu Alabira. And let's take a look at this. It's not too different for some of the challenges that we brought you, but it's important for us to expose every area of Ghana that is having these challenges and try and get as much help as we can for them. Take a look at this report.
Kpegu EP Primary School, situated in Saboba in the northern region, finds itself in a deplorable state, endangering the lives of its students. The school building, which is currently serving as a learning facility, can only be described as a death trap. The doors, windows, and roofing sheets are all in a state of despair, posing significant risk to the approximately 400 pupils enrolled. The school's population is overwhelmingly large, with nearly 400 pupils attending from kindergarten to primary 6. Shockingly, there is not a single piece of furniture in the classrooms, leaving the pupils with no choice but to sit on blocks whilst studying. A visit to the classroom by Citi News exposed the gravity of the situation.
They have arranged blocks, and as you can see, these are the blocks the children are sitting on. The population of the class is 78 children in the class, and all are packed on this block.
Teachers at the school expressed their frustration, highlighting the negative impact this dire situation has on both teaching and learning. Let us hear a few of them as they share their concerns with Citi News.
It's not easy, but we are just managing to the situation for now. The experience I have in this class is that whilst they don't have furniture to sit and write, most of them don't develop their writing skills well. Some of them lie on their floor. They lie on the floor to write. And due to that, their uniforms always look dirty, and the place is not safe for them. They are not comfortable enough to pay attention to the teaching and learning in the classroom.
In the morning like this, you will not feel the heat, but at a time getting to 10, 11 going, we are not finding it easy. Even though the building is better than nothing, but we are pleading to government to come and help us to save the situation.
The head teacher of the school, Emmanuel Atabado, who also teaches primary 2 with a class size of 78 children, shares his thought on the situation with Citi News.
Teaching in this class 2, is extremely difficult because this is a class of 78 children, and as you can see, you cannot move among them. The children are choked in this class. The class is also extremely small. This class was put up in the 70s. I was told that was the first structure that was put up in the 70s. And up to now, it is still there. Everything about it, we are just praying. Even when wind is blowing, we are not safe under this roof.
To address the infrastructure deficit, the GET Fund awarded a contract in 2019 for a 6-unit classroom block. Unfortunately, the contractor has abandoned the project at the foundation level. Ironically, the furniture intended for this abandoned project is stored at the palace of the chief of the community. The head teacher informed Citi News that it was a collective decision to store the furniture at the chief's palace until the construction is completed.
It has to do with consultatively with SMC PTA, because as you can see, you realize that Look at the windows are open, the doors are open. In fact, there is nothing safe under this roof. When rain is coming, the whole place is leaking. And when you watch the furniture, when it is exposed to these hazards of the weather, it means that it will not last. And when you are fortunate to get some of these things, you need to learn how to take good care of them so that it can last for other children to come and use. So just putting the furniture right now here will mean that they can only be used for one season. When rain falls on it, the next season you not, they will just spoil.
Some parents are worried because the lack of proper school uniforms leads to frequent tearing. The Parent Teacher Association PTA chairman for the school, Babingma Nilaja, informs Citi News that despite numerous appeals to the district assembly, no positive results have been achieved. Adam Ibrahim, a teacher from outside the community, shares his demotivation with Citi News regarding the prevailing situation.
I was thinking when I come, I will meet a nice building and then plus learners so that I can be putting my teaching and what I've learned in college practice well. But I got here and I realized that, in fact, it was so disgusting and in fact, I was not that comfortable when I saw the situation.
The teachers and community members passionately appeal to the government to ensure the completion of the project, as it will significantly address the ongoing challenges.
This community has a lot of children who they like school a lot. A lot of school-going age children, they actually come to school a lot, and you yourself saw the population. So the zeal for education is there. So I'm just appealing to the government to come to our aid. When the facility is put up, even we can have ICT facility, a whole lot of things, and they are doing well.
Citi News suddenly observed several children without school uniform and footwear. The teachers explained that the parents are unable to provide uniform and sandals for their children, further exacerbating their predicament. Here is the head teacher expressing their concerns and appealing for support.
It's a farming community, so you can't deny a child a school. You can't deny any child to come to school. So as soon as the child comes and then lacks certain basic things, maybe you have to just allow the child to be there. Then once in a while, when we call for PTA meeting, we engage them to try their best and provide like uniforms, footwear for the child, and maybe books. Even some of them come to school, they don't know writing materials. Basic too, there are children who don't have writing materials. They don't have uniform, they don't have footwear. But the time we just manage them like that.
So is it that the parents cannot afford or what?
Yes, sometimes you tell them, they say, my father cannot afford, or maybe the parents are not there.
The Saboba District Assembly acknowledges the challenges faced by Kpegu EP Primary School and assures that efforts are underway to bring the contractor back to work. Mr. Senyo said Cephas, the head of works at the Saboba District, provides insight into the situation whilst speaking with Citi News.
That project was awarded under GET Fund. It was one of our demands, or one of our projects we forwarded to GET Fund under the Schools Under Trees emergency projects. The need of that school cannot be overemphasized. So by 28th August 2029, the project was awarded to a contractor on that particular project. It's a GET Fund project, as I said earlier on. And the consultants on it are BRI, Building and Road Research Institute, for Monsieur Kumasi. They are the project consultants. Unfortunately, the contractor could not deliver as planned. In fact, as at July 2022, 25th July 2022, he could only complete 30% of the work. That is the substructure work, the level that it is as you had gone to see. So we were left with no other option than to terminate the contract, and we had re-tendered I think this year by March, we received bids. Bidding for that project closed. We evaluated, and by April, we finished the evaluations. In line with the Public Procurement Act, the contract sum, the bids we received for the work done is above the threshold of the district entity committee. So it has been forwarded, the evaluation reports and all necessary documents were forwarded to the Regional Tender Review Board. We have been in touch with the RCC and they are assuring us that they are planning to hold a meeting. We hope that it will be held within this month.
Mr. Cephas informed Citi News that henceforth, the District Assembly will include the provision of furniture when awarding contracts for classroom blocks to prevent similar situations from occurring.
All right, so there you have it. A report that was filed, brought to us by our correspondent, Mohammed Aminu M. Alabira. And, Chris, there are
so
troubling issues
like,
with this one.
It's when I was listening to it, you're tackling one situation and another situation comes, and then you leave it, another one comes. So like, there's so many angles to this story, and it's so hard to know which one to tackle first. But for me, the most important one are the kids right now, like the safety of the kids.
I think the focus at the end of the day has to be primarily on the children, on their safety, on their well-being. You know, and so if it's the infrastructure, you see how they coming to school barefooted,
without uniforms, and
I don't even think,
sitting on the floor.
I don't even think a lack of uniform is necessarily a problem because they're wearing clothes, right?
Exactly.
So there has to be a way we rationalize our education system in such a way that maybe at this level, maybe uniforms are not important at this level.
I mean,
right? Get them footwear
so
that they can have something on their feet to keep them safe as they trek back and forth from home to school. But sitting on these stones,
that's problematic.
That's
problematic.
That's a no-no.
Yeah, and if you listen to the report carefully, the guy said by 10 a.m., right? By 10 a.m., it starts to get very hot.
Yeah.
So that means if they're sitting on the floor, they're probably burning.
Well, I mean, they're in the classroom. So hopefully the shelter of the roof above the heads doesn't, scorch the floor as much. But imagine the heat in the room. You see how these aluminum sheets
and there are 70-something students, 78 students in one classroom.
Yes.
And then what actually surprised me most is the fact that they actually have some furniture, but it's placed in the chief's palace.
Yeah.
And I understand that they're trying to protect the furniture.
But why?
But
it's for use. Anyway, let's talk to the head teacher of the EP Primary School in Kpegu, Mr. Emmanuel Intayado. Mr. Emmanuel Intayado, good morning.
Good morning, please.
Yeah, welcome to Breakfast Daily.
Thank you.
Yes, so let me just first of all ask, why do we have your furniture at the Chief's Palace?
Good morning, and good morning to all viewers. I think it was a privilege that 2019 they awarded a contract to the school, and they promised to complete the structure within 6 months.
Okay.
So after a while, we were there, and then another contractor came. He said he was also contracted to provide furniture to furnish the classrooms. So I think for the duration, it was after a year. So when he realized that the school was still at the foundation level.
Yeah.
So the chief, the SMC board, the PTA, they all said since the school is not completed, then it would be nice they pack the furniture at the palace. So that as and when it is completed, then they can put it into the block.
Okay, so as per what you are aware of, why is it that after so long the project that was embarked on has not been completed?
Well, I've called, I used to call the contractor. Sometimes he says he has not been paid. He's working on things. He's going to Accra to work on things. To a point, I call and he doesn't speak. So I can't tell. I can't tell what is the problem.
But who awarded this contract? Is it not the assembly?
I don't know. I don't know whether it's the assembly. It's a Get Fund project.
It's a Get Fund project. Okay. So probably from the education from GES.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But have you spoken to anybody from GES regarding this?
Yes, they are aware. Because they do supervision, they come.
No. The reason why I'm asking is I'm wondering why you're talking to the contractor instead of the GES. That's why I'm asking.
No, once it comes to the school, we exchange contacts. We just, at least it's working in my school. So once in a while, we just greet each other.
Okay.
So sometimes I call and greet. I say, "Oh, boss, so how far?
Yeah.
What is happening?"
Yeah.
That was just one-on-one business.
Yeah.
But following I've complained to my CISO as well as the AD supervision. They are aware.
I see. And nobody's saying anything?
Up to now, no, I don't have any information up to now.
All right, so considering the deplorable state of the school, are there any steps that you have taken to protect the students?
Yeah, at our level, we try to mend the classrooms to sustain these hazards of the weather. We realize that there were other views that why don't they in fact, the whole structure is so deplorable that day in, day out, we have to work on it.
All right. So, and can you describe your experience, managing the school right now? How has it been for you, especially with the deplorable state?
Things are very bad. The children, teaching and learning is not very conducive. Sometimes you wish to play with the children, some few things in the classrooms, you can't even walk through the children. So to just check or monitor how they are writing. You see, sitting on blocks writing, you can imagine their penmanship skills, what will happen.
Mm-hmm.
So things are not really easy for us, but we are coping with the condition.
Right. So talking about coping with the condition, how does the local community feel, especially the parents of these students? How do they feel about this situation, knowing that this school was, built in the 70s and nothing has been done about it till now?
The community, day in, day out, sometimes when they are passing, they tell me they are going to meet the authorities, maybe director, DC. They always go to town to meet them.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So they are really concerned about it. They have made several moves, and sometimes in the school they pass and say they are going to town to meet the authorities about the project.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Intiado. He's the head teacher of the EP Primary School in Kpegu in the northern region. It's tough. I mean,
I feel his pain.
Yeah. No. It's to be the head teacher of a school that you talk to the GES. Mm-hmm. You don't get anything positive. You talk to the contractor. The contractor says, "I have not been paid. Mm-hmm. So if I've not been paid, I can't continue working." Right. And it's like what to do. The assembly is there. The assembly has a role to play because the school is within their district, but it looks as if these people have been abandoned. They've been left alone. And 78 pupils in one classroom. You saw the size of the classroom. Yeah. That's no way that children of this nation should be living. Children of this land should be living. It's an indictment on all of us. Look at them. You know, back in the 70s, we would hear stories, and in the 70s and 80s, we would hear stories of parents who say, oh, when I was a child, we were going to school barefooted. We've moved on from there. And I would loved to say that gone are those days. But in 2023, there's children in Ghana who are still going to school barefooted. That's a problem, you know. And for all those of us who are touting, you know, higher education, ideals and all of that within the education sector and everything else, this is the reality of what we're dealing with, you know. So let's stop the fanciful talk about, you know, the fantastic things that we've been able to achieve and everything. What about those who are still going to school barefooted, sitting on blocks,
writing on blocks,
and as the question was rightly raised, what would their writing skills be like?
What would it be like?
What would it be like at the end of the day? You know, we have Alice Inswiga, who is the School Management Committee Secretary, joining us on the line. Good morning, madam.
Morning, sir.
Yeah, welcome to Breakfast Daily.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. As a school management committee, it must be quite tough for you looking on year after year as nothing much seems to improve. What's the general thinking of the committee in terms of what to do next to try and improve the lot of your children?
Okay. In fact, it has been serious, and the committee, together with the staff, we are not at rest. We have been working day in and day out in order for the project to be established. But things are not easy for us. Though when the project started, 2019 thereabout, before then, myself, I'm a past student of that school.
Okay.
I completed Kpegu Primary School there, Kpegu JHS. And as at then time, everybody can testify. Myself, I can testify the result that we used to produce at the end of DC and other stuff. But
what was that like? What was that like? What were the results like back then?
Okay, in 2010, Kpegu was the best school in Saboba district.
I see.
And we had like 7 candidates.
Okay.
And 2011, we had 10 candidates, and Kpegu was still the best school in the district. So since then, because of this things not put in place and other stuff, and the number of students wasn't like this current state.
Okay.
You could go to class 10 students, 20. But as of now, class 6 alone is having over 60 students in the class. Which, like, there's no chair, no place for them to sit. Some of them lie on their stomach to write. How can you monitor a child's handwriting when it's lying on the stomach to write?
Yeah.
It's really affecting the children and the teachers themselves, though they are putting more effort in order to make things better. But because of this condition at stake, sometimes they find it difficult to really make a 100% result that they are looking up to. So, like the committee, sometimes we move to the GS office to tell them it's like the project was awarded by the district assembly. Sometimes we meet them to know what is the way forward. But even the contractor, sometimes I do call him. My only thought, anytime they call him, he's ready to come back. So I don't know. Initially, he told me, they were to do part payments for him so that he'll continue the project. But I don't know what happened. But in fact, it has really affected the students. And now, in fact, it's not easy. Look at the KG, for instance. The blocks are removed, and even the floor is not the floor that they used to sit, they lie on right, it's not even the best thing. Everything is deteriorated. Most of the time, if it's about to rain, they have to let the children go home, or they gather them into the class that they think is better in order to prevent or protect their lives. Because anything can happen.
All right. So, talking about protecting their life, have there been any accident or incident that has happened before in the past?
No, it's because of the teachers' initiative. Then, most of the time, when it's threatening to rain, they gather them to a class that they think is somehow better, and maybe they are with them. They guide them. They don't allow them to move out. Because most of the time, when it rains, you can see that the zinc can remove. So assuming these children are outside and it happens like that, it can injure any of them. But teachers have been protecting them and trying their best in order to make things right for them.
All right. So
though there have not been anything like that.
Okay. So apart from the rain, like, are there any other issues that can pose threats to the students' lives?
Yeah, because like especially KG, for instance, you can be in class, and myself, I did voluntary teaching there for about 5 years. You can be in class and you see that the mat is removing, falling on the ground. So it's not really something easy, but just that sometimes it doesn't fall on the children. But sometimes when it happens like that, you have to move them out, sweep the thing, organize the place again, and you start the lesson again, which is waste of time and resources.
All right, okay. Thank you very much, Madam Alice. We've been speaking with the Secretary of the School Management Committee, Alice Nswiga. And, you know, Chris, as you heard, there's so many different challenges that they're experiencing, and it looks as though there's no help coming from anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, and this is a problem. GES, this is one of your schools. Okay, Ministry of Education. This is a school in Ghana, right? And for me, I think that it's important that we look at the worst of our schools and upgrade. Like, do a general upgrading of the worst of our schools so that we have a certain basic minimum.
Right,
you know,
right.
It's a certain basic minimum in terms of expectation of what a school should be like. You know, it is true that there are some schools that are set up without necessarily the consent of or acquiescence of the district assembly or the education ministry and all of that. But this is 1970. You can't say this one was set up without, you know, being told.
It's been too long.
It's been too long.
It's been too long.
You know, it's been there. It's been there. So many generations of students. Look at the lady who was talking to us right now. She herself in 2010 was in this school. So think about it. This is where we are as a country. We can't get away from it, you know. And look at the other schools like the Achimotas and the GISs and so on and so forth, and pat ourselves on our back. We can't do that, you know. We've got to do better than that. We're going to talk to the assemblyman, who is the assemblyman of the Saboba electoral area, Dominic Ndafo in Jerebi. Good morning, sir. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, good morning. Welcome to Breakfast Daily.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, so as an assembly, what are some of the steps that you're making to improve the condition of your students?
Actually, when I came to the power at Kpegu, the EP Primary, I've seen that the project began 2019, early of 2019. By that time, I was not in assembly member.
Okay.
So when I became an assembly member, I went to assess the project who is being on there. I've seen that the contractor are being stopped. So I followed to the district assembly and then they said that the project is for guest farm produce. So that one starts from top, but they themselves, they don't have much about that. I see what you're saying. getting to 2020 or 2021, I was there and I saw them, they are teaching on chairs. So I quickly went there and I asked them what happened. They are teaching the chair because you brought the chair to come and sit inside the classroom. So I seen that they are teaching the chair at the Chief Palace at Kpegu. So when I asked them, the one who came to see the chair said that they are aware that the projects have been done. So when they come to see the chair inside the classroom, they have seen that the projects have not been anything. So they cancel the chair, but that's what they want to visit. So that day I called the DC over and he was not around. So he was in Tamale. He told me that I said that it stopped. Before I went back, they have already finished the chair.
Okay.
So
But yes. So would it not be appropriate to say that let's put in some of the chairs into the classrooms at this stage, and when the new building is completed, then we just move the things over there so that the children can at least use some furniture instead of using these stones.
Okay. But because of the projects are not the same, that's what we are not allowed that they should do. They themselves was not agreed to put the chairs into the old structure. And because that school, they don't that primary school, they don't have the structure again. We still look some about 4 classrooms are there. But the rest was at the family. That one are almost condemned. So that's why we're struggling that they could try and come and finish this one and they can put it together.
But you see, so in the meantime, I mean, as an assembly, how long do you think it will take for us to get the new premises finished? Do you have any idea?
The new chairs?
No, the new premises, because you're waiting for the new building to be completed so that they move the furniture in there. Do you have any idea? Is there a timeline that the assembly is aware of for the completion of the new project?
For that one, even the assembly themselves, they don't know when that new building can be completed.
I see.
Right. Okay, sir. I would want to ask, in your opinion, what are the main reasons that why the school has not been repaired since it was built in 1970? In your opinion, what are your thoughts?
You said?
So, in your opinion, what are your thoughts on the main reason why the school has not been renovated since 1970?
1970.
Yeah.
I'm getting it right. But that is the reason why we're struggling for this project. The time that you mentioned, that one was a old building that they got. And going to 2014 or 2013, that they built another 4 classrooms. So you saw that one is now functioning. So we are all struggling for that. That is why they brought this project to that place. And we are struggling and it's no more working again.
Okay.
Anyway, thank you very much for speaking with us. We've been speaking with the Assemblyman, Dominic Injeribi, who's the Assemblyman for the Sobiba electoral area in Saboba. Now, we'll take a quick break. Some of these challenges are rather stressful.